Today, I'm going to cover the topic of serious approach to serious field processes, codenamed Field Service 2.0. Few things at the start. My name is Stano. I'm the COO and Chief Evangelist at Resco. I'm based in our North American office just outside of Boston, Massachusetts. I've been with the company for almost 12 years, and on a daily basis, I manage our North American operations. I also talk a lot to our prospective customers, partners, existing customers, doing a lot of demonstrations, etc. Today, I would love to focus a lot on the mobile options for field service. If you're heavily involved in field service, you probably haven't missed the news that there are some changes coming. Microsoft has released a new version of the field service mobile application based on Power Apps. So we will look at some of the options that customers now have. And I would also love to cover and focus on the Field Service 2.0 solution, which is our offering to customers who already invested into Microsoft Dynamics 365 Field Service or planning to invest in this solution and looking for the state-of-the-art mobile companion that can help them to squeeze the maximum value out of Microsoft Dynamics 365 Field Service. One more thing before I kick it off, you're all in the listen only mode, which means you're muted by the system. But if you have questions, ideas, feedback, something you would like to share, please feel free to use the GoToMeeting application, the questions section, to type those questions in. I promise that I'll reserve good enough of time towards the end of the webinar to cover most of the questions, and I'll try to answer them. I'm not a super technical person, so if I won't know some of the answers, you have my word that I'll get back to you by email. So feel free to share your ideas and questions there. So with that, let's kick it off. And as mentioned in the intro, let's start with the first things first. So Resco, many of you probably know Resco because of our close cooperation with Microsoft. However, we as a company have been around since 1999, so way over 20 years, and we're focusing on mobility since the very beginning. We are a Microsoft partner since the inception of the company, utilizing Microsoft technologies and aligning our IP and our technology very closely with Microsoft systems. And that's why probably more than a decade ago, we decided to integrate our technology with Microsoft Dynamics, back then Dynamics CRM. A few years ago, we and Microsoft, we signed a very special partnership, a very close cooperation, where we agreed that Resco technology would become integral part of Microsoft Dynamics 365 Field Service technology offered as part of the Dynamics 365 Field Service license. So de facto, Resco became the supplier of Microsoft for everything mobile when it comes to field service. Throughout those years, we've been getting a lot of questions. If you followed what was happening four years ago, that there was quite a lot of confusion what that meant for the customers, but also for the partners. Questions around if I have field service license, can I use full version of Resco? What are the limitations, if there are any? What are the differences between the two? Lots of answers, lots of questions. So I thought I would try to explain what actually is covered within the field service mobility. So what we provided Microsoft with are three pieces of technology. First one is the mobile application. It's called Field Service Mobile. It runs on all the different types of devices, so iOS, Android, and Windows devices as well. It's available on all the app stores, and it's rebranded, so it's called Microsoft Field Service Mobile, and it's actually published on these app stores by Microsoft. The second piece is a mobile project, so a specific customization that Microsoft put together. It includes all the functionality, all the know-how, all the intellectual property around field service as developed by Microsoft, and Microsoft put it into the mobile application project or a template that is available for all the customers to use. The third part is the configurator, so a tool that allows to further configure, change, tweak, customize, and modify the mobile application based on customers' needs, customers' processes, workflows, what they work with, etc. So every little piece of that application and that mobile project can be changed with the mobile configurator. When we compared it with Resco, it's actually very simple. When it comes to the application, the mobile application is pretty much what we have, the Resco mobile CRM app, our flagship application, also available on all the app stores. Apart from that, our application is always up to date because it's the flagship application, bringing all the new functionality, new progress, all the innovations in a form of an app. When it comes to the mobile project, it's actually the application project, as we call it in Resco. On average, we actually ran a survey not long ago to actually ask customers how many application projects, so different types of customizations they use per organization. On average, they use 2 to 3 different configurations of the app, depending on the user role, depending on the use case, etc. And when it comes to the configurator, we just call it Resco Woodford, but it's pretty much the same tool. So as you can see, the differences are not huge. What Microsoft really did is an OEM version of Resco. The things are changing a little bit. In May 2020, so just 3 months ago, Microsoft introduced the first party application for Dynamics 365 field service. It's based on Power Apps technology. So all the cool stuff, but also all the limitations related to Power Apps relate to Microsoft Field Service Dynamics 365 Power App. So what are the things that are changing? In the short term, there's not much that is changing. For the existing customers, for the new customers, Microsoft actually recommends to continue using the existing field service mobile app. That's the Resco-based one. For all the current and new deployments of the Dynamics 365 field service. So that should still be your go-to application, but be prepared that there's something new released from Microsoft and currently marketed as the lighter approach. What I tried to do was to highlight current options and compare them with the solution value. So on one side, if you're a new field service customer, you pretty much have 2 options right now. You can use the Dynamics 365 field service app by Resco or from Resco, so the Resco based, which is available, and it's the recommended approach. And there's the new field service Dynamics 365 mobile app, the new Power App based application. If you have a very light, very simple scenario, you can look at the Power App. If you have a complex scenario, lots of needs for offline capabilities, complex functionality, sync filters, advanced use cases that require quite a lot of customization, or the users are in very challenging environments, then you should look at Resco-based application. Both, however, come with limitations because they're only meant to be used with Dynamics 365 field service. That means they're only good if you have Dynamics field service. If you would like to use some other applications from within Dynamics 365, you're not covered by the license. And for those of you who followed the story for a longer time, you know that the Resco-based application is not always on par with our application. On average, we're 1 to 2 quarters ahead of the Microsoft branded application, and we also bring a lot of new things into there. So what we thought we would do for those customers who really want to take big advantage of mobility and provide the best solution, best technology for their users, for their people, we created a new solution, new value that we called Field Service 2.0. And what it really is it's a full range of Resco products combined with innovations great support, and great knowledge that combines everything we learned about mobility with everything that we learned about field service. So here I am presenting the Field Service 2.0, the serious approach to serious field processes. Field Service 2.0 as a solution is based on three key ideas or concept or modules. The first one is technology, then it's the concepts, and then there's a commitment. But before I explain all of these in detail, let me describe some of the challenges that we're helping customers all around the world with and how we tackle them. Usually the first one is if I already send my field service technicians, my field people, my users out to visit the customers, visit the clients or site, I want them to succeed on the first visit. It's super important because that's where lots of cost is generated for businesses who are running field service operations. So really it's the key that once I send my people out to the field, I want to make sure that they're equipped, they're ready, they're prepared to do their job on the first visit. The way we try to really support this idea and support the users is by providing impeccable offline capabilities. The picture you can see on this slide, that's an actual field trip, a business trip that my colleagues took last year. It's as part of the United Nations mission. We're actually providing the UN teams with Resco-based application that they use for refugee registration and identification purposes. They use the application in areas where there's zero connectivity. Most of the time, there's very limited infrastructure, so no electric energy, no power, nothing like that, where they run Resco applications for days and weeks without the ability to connect to the internet. So when it comes to results on the first visit, I don't think you'll find a more powerful use case, or case study than what we did with UN. They have to go through hundreds and hundreds to thousands of interactions with the refugees on every day, and they want to make sure it's a fast and smooth process for every person that they get in touch with. So if you want to make sure that your users are fully equipped and the best equipped to make great results on the first visit, Resco has you covered with the most advanced offline technology that works no matter where you are. The second one is brain drain. When we talk to customers, companies who have skilled workforce, people who've been maintaining or repairing equipment for decades, we found out that these people are really the jewels of the company. They know the machines, they know the manuals by heart. They don't need manuals, they don't need procedures. They pretty much spend most of their lives fixing them, and they keep all that valuable information in their heads. So once they choose to leave or retire, it's really hard for companies to try to replace them. We understand it's a challenge, and we think we might have a tool that's not aspiring to solve the situation, but to find ways how to solve it. Our approach is to actually create step-by-step workflows, complex processes, and guides and guidelines equipped with visual aids that would help to capture all that knowledge, all that expertise that these skilled workers keep and carry in their heads, and put them in an easy-to-use version of the application that would navigate them through those complex processes. The solution that we have here, and I'm talking about, is Resco Inspections, really the most advanced tool that can create questionnaires and workflows with more than hundreds of different steps, questions, etc., and supports one of the most advanced business rules logic. The third challenge that we see companies and users are having is they often bring hours of work home. So they have many different visits per day. They meet with a lot of customers. They do a lot of job every given day, and then they come home and they actually have to update their systems after they've done the job. We don't think this is really efficient and sustainable. Creates a lot of pressure. So we have a concept that we call continuous experience. We believe that any situation, any job, any task could be equipped with a tool, the right tool that is right because of the situation when it's used. We believe that it should be a seamless experience for the user. It shouldn't matter whether they are driving, whether they need to use both of their hands to do some of the work, or they need help from back office, or maybe help through AR and VR technology to be guided. When they're doing the job, they should have the right tool available, and that's the key idea behind the continuous experience. Resco technology runs on all sorts of different devices, not only phones or tablets or laptops. We fully support smartwatches. You can run Resco application in your car if you have Android Auto or Apple Car. So if you're navigating or you want to quickly update something, you can actually run it in the car. There's a cool video that one of our partners recorded, and I'll be more than happy to point you to that, where he's using Resco in his car on a display. If you're going through a very complex repair and you would like to use Microsoft HoloLens or perhaps the AR functionality on your phone, you can totally do that as well using Resco. So any situation, we have the right tool for you, so you can do the work right there in the field and you don't have to bring it back home. Next one, we offer help when it's needed. We have a new solution, new functionality called Resco Houston that allows you to connect with your back office in real time. This actually requires internet connectivity, but the point is that you can actually share the screen, share the camera stream from your device with your back office colleagues, and they can draw on top of the screen, give you visual clues, point your direction the right way. It's similar to what you might have seen or what you know from Microsoft. The key idea here is it's seamlessly integrated with Resco technology with all the applications that bring all the goodies, all the advantages. And the last one is to actually understand where your people are. That's sometimes the key. We have customers who have huge fleets, lots of cars, lots of trucks that move around every day. Sometimes it's tricky to understand where these people are, where these cars and trucks are, where they're located. But not only that, we think there is a lot of hidden information in there, key information that can help you streamline the operations, create new territories, improve how you assign jobs, etc. Resco Field Service 2.0 comes with location monitor as part of routes that allows you to actually understand where your people are, how much time they've spent driving versus how much time they spend at the customers or at the sites, how much mileage or kilometers they're covering every day, with a really cool functionality in form of a location monitor where you can play with a time shift to see where they've been at any given time, and also the cherry on top of the pie, the live view, so the real-time information about the position. So those are some of the challenges. Let me just quickly go through the technology, how we support these, how we actually tackle these challenges. So Field Service 2.0, it's a platform, of course. It's everything that you might have known from Resco up until now. So it's the combination of native applications, configuration tools, lots of modules, that really strong offline mode that we keep building for years and years and years. On top of that, we have a level of new products that are seamlessly integrated with the platform. So that's inspections, a tool that allows you to create very complex forms for quick data collection, or to create very complex workflows and process flows, etc. Then there's routes that comes handy in two different ways. One is for the actual user to manage their day and to use it as a navigation when they're driving, and the location monitor that I was just talking about. And the next level is the innovations. Our commitment to bring a lot of new advantages, new advancements in terms of new functionality, new features, and new support. Smartwatches is one of them. AR, VR headsets, Google Glasses Pro, Epson glasses, wearable computers that people can attach to their clothes, AI, image recognition, for example, voice control, etc. So all of these together are Field Service 2.0, the ultimate solutions for companies who have people out in the field and want to make sure that they have the best tools. The second area is the concepts. Nothing new here, so I'll just go through it very quickly. We believe in device of choice. We know we're different, people are different, companies are different. We work with companies who have bring your own device policy. We work with companies who provision all their devices for the users. We know it can be a mix. It can be Androids, iPhones. So we have you covered there. We really try to support every kind of device that we find out there. The concept of continuous experience, I explained that. So the right tool at the right time, no matter what you're doing, we believe you should be able to be productive and capture all that information right on the spot, so you don't have to bring your work back home. And the third one is the mission control, to understand where your people are at any given time. The last pillar, the last module that is part of Field Service 2.0 is our commitment. In the beginning, I mentioned that Resco started as a company more than 20 years ago. Some of the devices that my colleagues were working on and developing simple mobile apps were looking like these. But things have changed since then. Resco is still there. One probably interesting fact would be that on average, Resco customer stays with us for more than 5 years, which I think is fairly impressive when you think about how quickly mobility and mobile technologies change and evolve. And here's our commitment. When the technology, I should say, change in next 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years, we want to make sure that your people can still rely on Resco as a partner that has your back covered when it comes to new technologies and new ways how we interact with technology. And the very last commitment is, there's just one asterisk associated with Resco Field Service 2.0, and that is no asterisks. We believe that when you're doing your job, you shouldn't care about whether your application is gonna have some data cached, or whether it's only working on Android and iOS devices, but there's no support for any other devices, and you have to switch, think twice, maybe look up all the information before you go to visit the customer because something is not going to work. All these things, we believe, there shouldn't be on your mind. You should be able to focus on your job, on what you do the best, and the technology should help you when you need it, no matter what. So with that, let me turn it to the demo part. And let's start with the first demo, that would be the mobile application. So I hope you can still see my screen. I brought the new version of the Field Service 2.0 mobile project. So what we did, and we heard you, some of the UI wasn't super up to date, and there were some complaints that perhaps the Resco application looks a little bit dated. So good news, we're started working on a new UI, new design. I'm not saying this is a finished job, it's a project, but what you're seeing right now is a start. So what we did, we redesigned the mobile application. We're hoping that it will have a fresher, newer look, and this is how it looks like. So the application, again, is pretty simple, optimized to what I work with the most. And we put that into 3 categories: my work, customers, and other. Everything, of course, fully configurable. Today, I'm going to pretend that I'm an elevator technician. And on this day, I'll visit different sites and perform different types of jobs as part of my bookings or work orders, create different inspections, and then we'll move on. So let's start at the very top of the screen. I'll tap on the bookings to see where I need to go today. This is the view of my bookings. It's pretty much a calendar that we recreated into bookings. So at the bottom of the screen, I can change between different views. And on the agenda view, I can see the 3 bookings assigned to me for today. You can see that the status is highlighted right there under the start time. So I can see if I'm traveling, if something's scheduled, if it's canceled or fully completed right here. I'll go back and move on to my route, and those 3 bookings that you have seen on that previous screen will come up on the map. Here we go. I have the records arranged in the Seattle, Washington area, so it took a little bit until the map has refocused. And these 3 numbers, 1, 2, 3, they're actually those bookings that I showed you on the calendar. If I tab at the bottom of the screen, I can roll out my tour plan. You can see the start and end locations. The first item and the last item are set to work address. That's that little building here in the center of the screen. So you can actually set up the address of your office or even of your home if you're starting your day or finishing your work at one of these. And then I have those 3 bookings right there. What I can do, I can hit the navigation button in the right upper corner, that little arrow, and I can open this whole tour plan in my Google Maps application. In this case, it will take a little while because I'm actually based just outside of Boston, so it would be a pretty long trip, just out of curiosity. I was wondering how long, but I would have to cover the whole United States, but I would be actually able to do it and get there. So I can totally use this with my Android Auto or Apple Car as a navigation, so I don't have to retype anything. I just connect my phone with my car and launch the navigation, so I get all the navigation and step-by-step instructions right through my car. Then let's say I arrive at the first spot, so I open up the bookings, open up the first one, and this is a brand new functionality. In the previous demos, if you've seen it, it wasn't a functional one, but the top screen is now fully interactive and also fully configurable. So you can define all these different steps that I can move through as a user. So you can see this one, I'm set to traveling, but let's say I'm gonna move on to the in progress because I already arrived there. If I'll need to take a break, I can mark it as the current stage, the on break, but let's say I keep it in progress as I just arrived here and I'm gonna start my work. So lots of information as part of the work order. I just collapsed these. You can keep them collapsed to not overwhelm the user with too much information on one screen. And what I'll do here, I open the booking to see the details. I see the work order, the booking status in progress because we changed it, etc. I can open the summary to maybe find some more information here. I have pretty good idea what to do. So what I'll do, I'll focus on the inspections now. I can see some of the historical inspections here that have been performed at this spot. But what I'll do, I'll actually start a new inspection. So what I'll tap on the plus button, and here's a lot of template that you can see were created through the Resco inspections and are all available in the application. We totally support different languages as well. You can see the German one here, the third from the top is available as well. As part of my job, I need to make sure that I work in safe environment. So what I'll do, I go through the hazard scan, the first template right here at the top of the screen, but I'll actually do it using my device, smartwatch, so that I can have both my hands free. So just bear with me 1 second. I switch the view to the iPad so you can see my smartwatch, and I'll continue the demo on the smartwatch. Okay, I think you should see it now. So what I'll do, I start the smartwatch, unlock it, launch the Resco mobile CRM application and walk you through a few questions on my smartwatch to actually make sure I'm working in a safe environment. So let's do that. I'll just unlock the watch. I'll go to the menu, look up Resco mobile CRM app. It tells me to open the questionnaire on my mobile device, so I just did that. I confirm the date. Yes, it's August 20th. First question, have I encountered any hazards? Yes, I did. Was there a risk of slip? Low, medium, high, or no? Luckily, no risk of slip, so I choose no. Any strain or overexertion? Just low. Any moving objects? Absolutely. Moving objects. I'm in an elevator shaft. Any contact with harmful energy source? Medium. There's some electricity wires, etc. Harmful objects and substances? Nope. And the last one, is it complete? Yep. All done. And I can continue my work on the mobile device. So that was easy. I was able to walk freely. I didn't have to hold my phone in my hand. I was able to get all the steps through my watch on my wrist. One quick view back on the mobile device. This is the HAS scan checklist. As you can see, all the answers are captured and are visible on the mobile phone. If I need to make any changes, any final adjustments, I can still do them. I just put a tick here at the bottom of the screen that this is completed, and I hit the save button. So that was pretty easy. Let's now continue with the regular inspection. So I'll start the inspection again. I'll find the regular inspection here, the third from the bottom, and open it up. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to inspect an elevator. You can see it's going to be assigned to a work order at the top to the customer. The technician is my name. I'm billed today, and the current date is assigned automatically. And what I can do, I can scan the serial number of the elevator to populate all these fields underneath. To do so, I tap on that little QR code button next to the serial number, and I'll scan a barcode that I have here on my table. And as you can see, based on that serial number, LM8, etc., we assigned the correct asset, the manufacturer, model, and will also capture the date of the last inspection. So from the work order information, I know, and from the additional details from the customer, I know that the elevator is working but has some issues. So I'll state that. And now I can actually move on to the inspection. I check the cabin interior, the lights, the control panel, the LCD display, the cabin walls, the speaker and phone, all looks good. I'll move on to the cabin exterior. The left brake looks okay. The right brake, however, looks damaged. And I know I actually have to change a spare part. But I haven't been here for quite a while, so I don't know which spare part to use. And as you can see, my inventory includes lots of hundreds of different spare parts. Resco has my covered back. What I'll do, I'll take a picture of that spare part, and it will help me to identify what kind of spare part it is. So let's capture a picture of the spare part. There we go. I hit use photo, and let's see if the spare part is identified. Yep, it was identified as a brake pad. So if I click on the spare part field, you can see there's just one now instead of those hundreds, and it's been identified as a brake pad 24WM. Perfect, job done. Right brake fixed. I can move on, check the wire ropes, securing brackets. If there are particular issues that require me to document them, I can use a camera or even record a holographic scene. But let's just use the camera for now. I'll take a picture of this elevator shaft that definitely needs some love. And I can actually pinpoint the issues by tapping on the little plus button in the right bottom corner. That gives me the option to assign these little red tags on top of the picture. All I have to do is just use my finger. I grab the pin, place it here over the control panel, release my finger, I tap on the little red pin, and I can say this pin is regarding control panel, and it's a critical priority because it's totally broken. And I'll assign one more. Here on the other side, we have the ropes. So I'll put the pin right there on top of the ropes. I tap on the pin, I choose wire ropes, here they are, and it's a high priority as well. That's done. When my colleagues, the specialist, will come to check on this elevator shaft, they can reopen the picture and they'll see that the tags with the pins and more information right there. And this picture will be saved in just a second and will be part of the inspection questionnaire as well. There we go. Next one is the engine room. So I'll just breeze through this pretty quickly as I think you got the idea how the process looks like. In ideal world, I would check every floor to make sure the doors, the push buttons, displays work. I'd be able to add some final notes if I want to, and then I just attach a signature to confirm that I was there, and that signature is now part of the questionnaire. So I think all looks good. The pictures are there, the issues are identified, so I can complete this inspection. And what I'll choose to do is complete it with the report, so I can keep a copy with the customer before I leave. I confirm that I won't be able to make any more changes. Here's the mobile report generation part. The cool thing about the mobile reports of Resco is that you can run them in completely disconnected mode, which means you don't need any connectivity to build these. This is the PDF version, and you can see all the pictures there and the signature at the bottom. If you prefer different format, you can switch to summary at the bottom of the screen, and we can say, you know what, I would prefer a PDF file. Hit the little rocket in the right upper corner, and we can even build an Excel report so that I can edit it before I send it to the customer. Okay, here we go. Okay, perhaps doesn't look the best, but you can see the cells here, the pictures, all the data, all the answers captured as part of the Excel spreadsheet. And what you can actually do with the report, you can open it, copy it, print it, email it, or just simply save it. That's what I would do. So with that, I can save this. Oh, maybe I'll do one more thing. I'm done with it. So I'll hit complete it and mark it as current stage. And I can set the actual arrival time to make sure that it was captured precisely. I think it took us about 15 minutes to go through that. So 11:25 end time is the current time. So I hit save, and there you can see the status has changed to completed. What I can do, I can now open the next one. I see Nordwind Traders Assembly. I should be able to take care of this one. So I'll just change the status to traveling, as I'm now ready to hit the road and go to the next one. And the status has changed on the bookings view already. So I'm traveling, we're capturing that time as part of it. All good, no issues. I was able to get through my day without any problems. Let me show you one more thing, and that's going to be the location monitor. So just 1 second. Oh, I see. So I unfortunately locked myself out of the cool demo I wanted to show you, but if you bear with me for just 1 second, I'll be able to find it. and show you actually how the location monitor looks like and how we can monitor where people are. So I'll just connect there. Perfect. I'll log in with my credentials. It's my email, but a special password. And it's an ET, perfect. The password is, you almost got me, I almost told you the password. Perfect. Just one typo. Awesome. Let me open the location monitor right here. We're initializing the application, and I have a bunch of friends who are driving all morning around Boston so that we can show it to you how it looks like. This is the map with the different routes. The cool thing is that every route can be shown in a different color. The little colorful pins show where people need to go. And if I zoom it out, you can see the whole area here. I have the time shift. So what I can do, I can move this time shift to actually see how they were progressing through their day. So if I move it a little bit slower, you'll see Myro in his blue car started moving first. Then it was Roland in the red car. And then the other guys started as well. What I can do as part of it, I can click on Roland here and just focus on his day. So I can click on the start. I'll see where he started and at what time. So he started at 9 p.m. He finished his job at 11:42, or his day. He traveled for 40 minutes, covered 11.4 kilometers in those 40 minutes, so not too bad. And underneath I have the list of planned visits, so all the stops that he was supposed to go to. 3 of them he completed, 1 was canceled, and 1 I think he's still on track to do. It's the one that has a little clock in there, so it's still scheduled, as you can see here. What's really cool, you can also move this shifter just for Roland to see how quickly he was progressing through the day. And the cherry on top of it, you can switch to live view in the right upper corner, and that way we'll see how people are moving in real time. For example, Roland, you can see is moving at 11.4 kilometers per hour speed. It has just moved a little bit direction northeast, and we can see he's scheduled for 11:10 to arrive at the Hobbit bunker. The actual time seems more like 11:44, so he's a little bit behind. But really cool functionality to get you more insights about your team, where they are, how quickly they're progressing through the day, and you're getting all this data directly in your dynamics, so you can do some cool stuff with it, some more analysis, some more understanding of what is happening out in the field. So with that concludes my demo. If you have questions, feel free to type them into the question section in the GoToWebinar application. If you'd like to find out more about Field Service 2.0, I know it probably was a lot to digest, but what we did, we created a special course in our online academy, Resco Academy. You can create an account there if you haven't yet, and look for the Field Service 2.0 course, where it's all explained in nitty-gritty detail. We also have a YouTube channel where we post a lot of cool videos, webinars, recordings with some cool functionality and features. If you like to check that out. And I know the situation is still pretty tough all around the globe, but situation permitting, we're hoping to put together Resco.next, our annual conference, training sessions if possible. What we're definitely planning to do is go with another round of virtual trainings. We ran them in May this year. They were a great success. We had over 200 attendees. So we'll keep you posted about the progress there. So with that, let me check if we have any questions. Okay, we have a few. Ori, do you have plan to support Chinese market with no Google services, for example, support AMAP? Great question, Ori. I know we're working in China actively. We found a partner in China, but I have no updates on how we're going to support some of the services such as navigation and mapping. So I'll find out more on that, what the plan is, and I'll let you know. Question from Dominic: if it's true that Microsoft will not, in their next release, give me just 1 second to understand the question. Microsoft recently said they would provide in the next release their own field service solution, which will not be Resco Mobile. Do you confirm? So I think, Dominic, to be completely fair, the situation is a little bit more complex. So Microsoft has already released their own Power App-based application. So great news for customers is that they have more options now. The Resco-based application is still there, available for all the customers. It's actually the recommended application for all existing and new customers who are implementing field service. This is Microsoft words, not mine. And the lighter one, the Power App based one, could be used for the lighter purposes. So that's probably the best answer I can give you. Another question from Adnan: what is the time lag in live view in route? Great question, Adnan. I actually don't know how many seconds it's behind. What I know is we're using the mobile device's GPS units, so it is pretty accurate. It's all about how quickly we can process that data from GPS units and visualize them in the location monitor. But it's a great one. I'm actually wondering myself, so I'll sync up with my colleagues and I'll let you know. The routing feature is included in field service licensing. Question from Victorian. So yes, field service 2.0 is going to be offered as a solution, which will have its own SKU, so it will have its own license, and everything I showed you today will be or is included within that license. So that license will allow you to use Resco platform, so all the mobile applications on all the devices, the configuration tool, the modules, etc., the offline capabilities. On top of that, it also includes the license to inspections, so you can create those questionnaires, and also a license to routes. So it's a package. We don't see it as a product, we see it as a complete solution. Yeah, question from Adnan. When is the expected release timeline for Field Service 2.0, or has it already been released? So the answer, Adnan, is that it's all available. Before now, it was all kind of scattered across different products, but what we did, we created one cohesive story behind all these products, and we think calling it Field Service 2.0 makes a lot of sense. So just let me know if you want to get started or start a trial, and I'll be more than happy to point you the right way. And what I actually forgot to tell you is my email address, right? So I'll just type it right here so that you can see it if you'll have questions. Dominic likes the new interface. Thank you, Dominic. We were hoping for some feedback on that. If it's positive, even better. Question from Munir. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Inspections and field modules plus Resco Cloud. Can we use other clouds platforms? So the question, I guess, is on the integration. So Resco Field Service fully integrates with Microsoft Dynamics 365, whether it's field service, whether it's sales, whether it's some other applications, or even CDS, if it's still called CDS this week. So no problems there. We understand that not all the customers have, not all the companies have Microsoft Dynamics. That's why we also offer it as a standalone solution with Resco Cloud. And that Resco Cloud option comes with quite a few existing APIs that allow customers to connect it with other systems. We have customers using Oracle. We have customers using Oracle Siebel, to be precise. We have customers using homegrown systems. So there are definitely options there. Question from Ori, can the template of PDF be customized? Absolutely, Ori. The reports, the PDF version that I showed you, that's one of the templates. Part of the solution is a report generator that allows you to create any kind of PDF template. It supports even graphics, so you can place your logos there, change the colors, background color, etc. So you can totally play with it to create specific template of the PDF report as you wish. Question from Victorian, if we support business process flow? Good question, Victorian. I know we supported business process flows if you refer to those from Microsoft Dynamics. I'm just not sure if we still support them because I believe they might have been discontinued, but we have support for our own workflows if those are not sufficient. But let me confirm that one and I'll be in touch with email. Okay, more questions? Question from David. If I don't have phone signal in the field area, the program keep or save the place work, how the app works without internet signal? Perfect question, David. So good news is that with Resco, it's really simple to work whether you have connectivity or not. That's the key idea behind our offline functionality. So if I bring the application back on the scene, I hope you can see it. Yes, you should. So in the left upper corner of the application, there's a little button there. Right now it's scratched. That means the application is not connected to the backend server. That means if I turned off the Wi-Fi, which I actually can do, maybe I'll turn on the flight mode and turn off the Wi-Fi. So as you can see, I'm still on the Wi-Fi. Okay, because I have the phone connected to my laptop. Sorry about that. But even if you turn off the internet completely on your device, you can still work with the application. If I restart it and start the application again, I can work when I have absolutely no connectivity. If I do the job, I can then just sync manually, tapping on the little sync button in the right upper corner and send all that information back to the backend server. You could also set up some auto synchronization. But if you want to work in online mode, let's say you're on Wi-Fi, working in an office or something like that, you can tap on that little button in the left upper corner. You will see I just did that, so that scratched line, scratch sign has turned into full sign. That this means I'm working in online mode right now. And I have some filters here, so let me try the bookings. Will probably take a second or two. But my point is, it's very easy to switch between offline and online with Resco. So if you have good connectivity, You can work in online mode. If you lose connectivity, you can just tap that little button, switch to offline mode, continue working. You can create new records, edit records, do pretty much almost everything except making phone calls, sending emails, using navigation. Most of the things with Resco work in completely disconnected mode. Okay, some more questions from Ori. This is great, guys. I really appreciate all the questions. First question, can we use C# code to control the report logic, such as which question should show in template and which should not? What data type of checklist? Oh, that's the second question. So let's start with first one. You don't actually have to be a coder to do that. Part of the questionnaire that I showed you, or the questionnaire is part of the Resco inspections product that we used as part of the field service solution. And that product comes with a questionnaire designer. This is a web-based tool where you can completely design the questionnaire. And every question you can assign it an attribute to be shown on a report. So you can capture the information, but if you don't put a check, if you don't set up that attribute to be shown on a report, it would never show up on that PDF, Excel, Word, or HTML type of report, but you can still be capturing that data. So if this is something you want to achieve, I think it's very easy. You don't need to be a coder. It can be all set up in the questionnaire designer. If I didn't get that question perfectly correct, I apologize. Please feel free to shoot me an email. We can look into that. And the second question, what data type of checklist stored in Dynamics 365 are the questions and answers CDS entities? Awesome question. Yes, so the answer is yes and yes. When you enable the checklists, the questionnaires, again, as part of Resco inspections, there's a number of custom Resco entities that are created, either in Dynamics or CDS, what I probably should say CDS. Example of those entities are questionnaire, question type, question, and I think there's one more. So all the questions, all the answers are stored as Dynamics or CDS records in those corresponding entities. The advantage is those are just like any other records. So if you want to do some magic with all the collected data, all the collected records, you can. If you want to hook it up with Power BI and do some cool reporting on top of that, you absolutely can. If you want to start some workflows based on the data from the questionnaires, you can absolutely do so. So really, it's totally up to you. Hope I got that question correctly as well. Okay, one more question from David. If I find a query or not conformities during the inspections, are in the app at tools to track this or these pending issues? So that's a good question, David. I think you would have to think about those options before. So when you're designing the questionnaire, to give your users the option to report some defects or some problems, some issues. One way to do so would be, as I showed you in the application, probably just to have an option to record an issue. So you can have that. Let me just bring I open up the questionnaire. So you can always add a question like, is there an issue there? Describe it in your own words. So instead of having just a picture there, it can be a text type of question, multiple line text, so that your users can elaborate a little bit on that issue, maybe add the option to take a picture. If you're thinking about something else, please let me know, and we can look into that. But if you're looking at something like, oh, if I find an issue, I can start a new branch within the questionnaire. It's only possible if the questionnaire is designed that way in the questionnaire designer. Hope I made some sense. I know we're running out of time. Apologies for that, but I really appreciate all your questions. This has been great. I'm sorry to be cutting this, but I know people have some other commitments. I do as well. So I would like to thank you very much for attending this this webinar today. Thanks for your interest. Thanks for great questions. And if you'll have anything else, please feel free to reach out to me by email or on LinkedIn. I'm quite active on both. Thank you. Have a great rest of your day, and I look forward to seeing you at one of the future webinars.